Hello and welcome. We're here today with Paul, the founder of Game Changers magazine. I think he needs no introductions. And we're looking to do something different. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about pick a topic and talk about it, but the way we're picking it is a little bit out of the ordinary. So you're not getting to choose what you're going to talk about. I'm having 12 quotes written down, and then I will ask you to choose a number, and your number will be corresponding to your topic. Okay? And then we'll see how the conversation unfolds from that point. The reason we do that is because we want an impromptu, authentic conversation to come up. That's why. How do you feel about that?
I'm stuck in a corner, so there's nothing else I can do.
Okay, so all you have to do is just pick a number from 1 to 12.
Let's go with lucky number 7.
7, okay, let me see. Okay, so you picked Oprah.
Perfect subject. Yeah.
And she says, be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never ever have enough. How do you understand that?
Well, I guess it's kind of down to staying positive. If you focus on the negative of like what you've lost, then you're never going to get anywhere. You're going to dwell upon it. However, if you're focusing on what you do have, like, I'm not into all this recent fashion of it sounds a bit harsh what I'm going to say, when people are professionally being humble, you know what I mean? When you see it on LinkedIn, when people are saying, oh, stay humble, this, I think you should kind of talk about your successes, you know. I mean, it's not a bad thing for some people, you know. It's maybe it spurs other people on, certainly spurs yourself on. Not to say you're going to rub it in people's faces and, you know, do your wheels spinning your Ferrari in the garage or something like that, but no, all these people are professionally staying humble. It doesn't stick with me. It's very, very weak.
I think you're totally right. I mean, you should celebrate your successes because, you know, if it makes you happy, it's something good, it's something to celebrate. I think, for me, you know, the way I understand this quote is that it's about gratitude. And it's about, sometimes we tend to not notice what's there and always want something different. It's like the grass is always greener on the other side. Do you ever find yourself doing that?
Well, everybody kind of dwells on losses sometimes, don't they? You know, but the key is not to stay on it. You know, like, by all means, look, anybody who doesn't dwell on it either hasn't put themselves out there to get themselves into a situation where they have lost, or, you know, just it's all right to be angry at it. You know, but as long as you're not angry at it forever, just say, look, give yourself 10 minutes, half an hour, excuse my language, pissed off. You know, then that's it. You need to, look, as a therapist, you know you've got to release it. Otherwise, you're going to have a few problems. You know, you'll be very bitter, very angry, and, you know, it's not very good for your health or mental health or anything, is it?
Yes. It's interesting you talked about losses and about losing something. You know, sometimes it's about losing something and not being able to come to terms with that, and you are actually angry, as you said. But sometimes you do not lose anything, I think. It's just that you've got a lot of things. There's no major loss, and when I say major loss, I mean, you know, your job, your personal happiness or whatever that is, but still you are not able to enjoy the moment. How do you think this is explained? I mean, why do you think sometimes we fail to notice what we have, not what we lost, but what we have?
Yeah, well, that's it. I think in our culture now, we are more conditioned to focus on what we don't have. You know, it's like capitalism, to look at the person who has the fast car or the beautiful, you know, or whatever. You know, hence why Instagram is so popular. You know, because it's about looking at other people's lives, how they're so perfect and ours aren't, and how the rise in depression and things like this, because you don't have these things, you know, or you feel like you need them, you know, and that creates the loss in your life, and you don't focus on what you do have. You know, like, how many times have we all left a job or been fired from a job And then a few weeks later, you realise that the boss is a complete idiot. You know what I mean? And like at the time, it is a big impact, whether it's financially or it's just a big disruption in your life. Afterwards, you realise that the world turns. You know, nothing really big changes. Look, as long as you're not losing your house or something like that, that's a different thing. But without sounding like David Brent or something, with like a great loss sometimes can become big new channel or new doors open.
Sure.
You know, it's happened to me loads of times where something like you've had a real kick in the teeth, and good things usually come of it as long as you just keep going, stay positive, and that's pretty much it, I'd say.
I'll go back to what you said about Instagram and the social media in general, and about people, posting all their good moments, and obviously you won't post, from that morning that you wake up and feel like crap, and you will just post positive stuff because we look for approval, obviously. And then second thing that happens is that we see these things and then we start comparing what we have or what we experience compared to other people's. So we focus on lack.
Well, how does this sound, Maria? If we all stop looking for people's approval, would our lives improve?
What do you think?
No, for sure. Like, where does it come from? I mean, like, does it come from a lack of parental approval when you're a child or something like that you was never given enough attention and therefore you have a deficit, and you're always looking for a father or mother figure or something like that? I don't know, but I think once you just, I know it sounds a bit harsh, it's not meant to sound harsh, but once you just stop caring, and just say, you know what, I'm here for a finite amount of time, I'm here to do what I've got to do. Look, I'm going to be decent to people, I'm not going to be like a psychopath, just completely. But if you just say, look, this is it, I've got one roll of the dice, I'm a paid up member of being an atheist, so it's not like I've got another chance once this one's over, you know what I mean? So we've got to keep going to the best you can in a positive. Look, bad things happen, we all accept that, but don't let it destroy your life. You just got to keep going and going and going. It's not easy, but
it's interesting that you mentioned about the why this happens, why we have this innate need for approval. Is it because we were not, accepted as kids or whatever? And I think it has to do with the kind of love we most people receive and we give to ourselves. Most of the times it's conditional love. It's like we love you when you are good to us, or we love you when you succeed. Maybe for some families this is the case as well. But how easy do you think it is to love yourself unconditionally?
I don't know. It's about self-image, isn't it? I think, going back to what we just discussed, I think if you turn off social media, it's a hell of a lot easier. Look, everybody, like we discussed when I've interviewed you, had the monkey talk, or the monkey mind going on. That's been with us since we've been walking on two legs, I guess. But I think the older you get, like I say, it goes back to the less you care about what other people think. If you just... Okay, some things are very valid, what people say, okay, but a lot of stuff people come out with, right, it's just noise.
But unconditional love would be to just love yourself, even if what people said is true. I mean, people might say that, Maria, sometimes you, you're very straightforward and we do not like that. Yes, but okay, this is not a very good trait of mine maybe, but I would not love myself for that.
So what is self-love essentially then? Like, because my definition might be different to yours. Is it something where you have a healthy self-image of yourself, or you're quite narcissistic, or is it like, does it go further, that sort of thing?
What it is.
Like, would I be branded a narcissist if I had a healthy self-image of myself? I mean, where is the borderline between that, being comfortable with yourself, and then being classed as a narcissist or sociopath? I
think the borderline is that a narcissist does not care about other people so much, So a healthy individual would care about what other people feel. I'm not saying care about what they tell about you, but you wouldn't. You would care about their feelings. You wouldn't want to hurt them. You would want to have meaningful relationships. While a narcissist wouldn't be able to do that. Yes, so I think this is where the line is. Your healthy relationships and your connection to others. And I think that the more you are, I don't know, maybe you disagree, but if you love yourself, you tend to be able to connect better with other people as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say so, because I don't think you have that fear of what people think of you, so you just talk to them, you build that rapport.
Or fear of rejection.
Yeah, that's it, fear of rejection. You can go in there and you're just open with people. Once you're open with people, then they open up themselves. But if you look, we could all pick up on people who have like a low self-image of themselves. Like if we went into a room here, for example, there's 100 of us, and let's say 25 of them had a very low self-image. You picked them out yourself, so you knew what boxes to tick. I think quite easily we could pick them out straight away within the 2 minutes. The way they walked around, the angle of their head, the demeanour and things like this. And it's hard to say. It's really, we're all individuals, so everyone has an individual definition of it.
You, as a kid or when you were growing up, did you ever have to deal with your self-image? Were you, did you have to work on self-esteem, or was it?
Yeah, sure, man. Because when I was younger, come from a single-parent family, and back then it was frowned upon. Okay. You see, it was this is years ago. So, and then we had no money either. So when you've got the lack of parental attention, because mum had to work like a couple of jobs, so she was never there, and poverty. Well, we call it first world poverty, I guess, where you're not having the same quality of clothes, etc. when you're a teenager and things. It's quite a hard thing, isn't it? So you do have to have quite a good self-image of yourself, because you know what kids are like. It's school's crap, isn't it?
I know, school for a lot of children is a horrible experience, because bullying does exist.
Yeah, and it's silly to say it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
How did you deal with it as a kid then?
Just used to have a laugh with people, it's just the way it was. From that, I had to work myself when you were younger, and strange enough, that's how I started my sales career back then, because what we used to do was, in England we have a thing called Red Nose Day. Remember Comic Relief when you was in Scotland?
Yeah, I remember.
We used to have the red nose on the cars, just to cut them off and go and sell them, knock on people's doors and sell them. Okay. And the fact that you've done it
built your sales skills.
Yeah, well, you had to cold call essentially by knocking on a door as like a 12-year-old with a red piece of plastic essentially, and say, look, we've just stolen this from a car, would you like to buy it for £1?
I think you have a talent, because I've done a lot of things like that, but I never built the skill of a salesperson.
Yeah, it was, people used to buy it just because they used to think it was funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like, you're admitting to me you just stole it from that car over there, and you're getting me to buy it, and you're not even going to give the money to charity, and you say, no, it's for me the money. So, well, yeah, so, but no, you develop a work ethic from it, because then you have to work as a kid and stuff like that. Then you get more social skills, and I wouldn't want it for my daughter, but it kind of builds who you are, doesn't it? Yeah. Really, and without that, I wouldn't be here now. In a way, I've thought about it a few times. I wouldn't like to have had the comfortable 2-parent middle-class upbringing, because God knows where I'd be now, probably working for the government or something like that. I'd probably shoot myself.
Okay.
So yeah. So
it's like your experiences and your difficulty build who you are, and I think this is true for most of us.
Well, every experience is a building block, isn't it, in our personality? Whether it's good or bad, it's all part of a metaphorical wall, isn't it? The wall of who you are.
It's true. And it's funny how we started from something that actually talked about gratitude and being happy about what you have, and reached the topic of self-love, self-acceptance, and being happy within yourself. because maybe when you are happy within yourself, you are able to appreciate more the things around you as well. So it starts a lot from within. It starts from self-acceptance, and then you can actually accept whatever comes around as well. Do you think it's like that or not? Or there are the factors?
No, you're right, because once you accept all that, you can differentiate what's all noise, all nonsense. Like we discussed, whether it's social media, whether you're forcing yourself to buy the newest coat or whatever the case. You know what I mean? Like the BS of life.
Yeah.
Once you can cut through that, things become a lot easier. I think having a kid helps a lot because everything changes. Before I had a child, I was a bit of a pig, if I'm honest. Absolutely, you're drinking a lot more. You're more self-centered. And it's not until you have a child that you kind of everything changes. It's not until you have one, and like I always used to think, what do you mean, man? I've got a cat. Of course I love something, you know what I mean? But until you have a kid, it's not the same. I don't care what anyone says. You do look at the world a different place.
I think you try to be a better person as well for your kid. You are a role model, so you have to be a better person. I feel that sometimes.
Yeah, no, you have to. I mean, because really, you're producing, without sounding like a weirdo, you're producing the future, aren't you? And you want to build somebody who contributes to society in a positive way rather than a negative way. Nothing I hate worse than a spoiled kid. Because you can have no men in the world, but you can teach your kid manners. And that's the worst thing I think you could possibly do. Is you've got to teach them the value of money, that it's not all for free, and you have to work for it. I mean, look, I sound a bit harsh because she's only 7, but but that's when she's come 10, 11, 12. No, but you know what I mean? It's like there's nothing worse than when you see some kid. Look, kids have meltdowns in restaurants and stuff like that. I understand that. But when you was a kid and there was other spoiled ones, maybe it's just my reflections on my childhood, I don't know, but spoiled people, cannot stand them. Cannot stand them at all.
Yeah, well, I think you have a point. Okay, so to recap, you think it's about self-esteem, how you compare yourself to other people, and about cultivating a sense of actually being attentive to your values in a way. This is what I understand from what you said. Is it true? Is it right?
Well, look, I don't know, because I couldn't give you an answer because I don't know, man. Because it's just
this is it. That's why
I come here for cheap therapy. I'm a cheap person actually, so I can save myself €100 when I talk to you. So I mean, where would you say that's a true value then? What of myself or?
No, I think that what I understood from you is that at this point of your life, you're maybe more in the position to be aware of what actually may obstructing your total sense of everything is fine. You are more aware of that because you say it's true, as we age, we just have a different awareness and our experience builds us. But I understand also that you're quite proud of your experiences and happy that you had them and they actually molded you in what you are. So this is good. I mean,
it wasn't at the time, but when you go through it, when you're on the other side,
this is a kind of happiness, that I've went through this, but now I'm okay with it, and I think I needed it to become who I am.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very fair comment. Yeah, I'd say so. Cool. I agree.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here today. I don't know if you've got anything else to add.
No, probably just a little cry on your shoulder.
Great. Okay.